Delighted to welcome to the Informer studio Lina Messina, who's the independent candidate from Darebin Council in Victoria. I should add, you're here as a private person, not as a member of the council.
Absolutely.
So these are your views that we're talking about. And I just want to find out from you, what have you made of this past week? The state government, suddenly out of nowhere, chose to clamp down and lock down the state just when we were hoping that things would open up.
There's a couple
like the rest of the country.
Yeah, well, thank you first of all for having me.
My
the
pleasure.
First thing that came to mind was, what has occurred? Why are we disassociating Victoria from the rest of Australia? What integral components and what arenas did we not, what boxes did we not tick to get to
Correct.
this place?
Absolutely right.
And as you've been reading, you've become aware of what was happening with the security guards. You become aware of what's happening with the Cedar Meat scandal. And then you've got the lockdown of the 9 towers over in Flemington and North Melbourne. These are questions that we need to ask. And we don't need a $3 million budget to ask that question. $3 million can be going over to a community that a particular industry cohort that are going to be concerned with what's going to happen come the middle of October in terms of their income being depleted.
Lina, I spoke to one of the social workers who's in lockdown at the moment in North Melbourne, one of the towers. And he pointedly said to us, not on one occasion, but 2 or 3 different occasions, when I said to him, what have you made of what's happened? He says, we're traumatised. We've been talking to government and to the health department for more than 2.5 months to say to them, these are almost vertical cruise ships. If you're worried about cruise ships incubating, right, think of where we are living, people sharing the lift, to do this, that, nothing. No one wanted to know. How can Jenny Makako stand up now and say, nothing to see here? We've done the right thing. Mr. Sutton, we've followed every, protocol. Clearly, we haven't. Why have we forgotten how to get things done? Because Victoria has had a history of getting things done.
And we did well.
And doing it well.
We did well up until the protest.
Yep.
What's happened since then, and why Victoria, as I said earlier, when you look at any pandemic, you have to go through your policies and procedures and your planning.
Yeah. Okay. Protocol's absolutely key.
Absolutely. Why this is happening? Why is the spread occurring?
Yep.
Put in your PPE, your protocols, your policies to do that.
Yep.
And then you have to get your communication method right. And you're looking at who are the most vulnerable.
Yep.
They forgot, as you said, they're cruise ships. Now, that's North Melbourne and Flemington. What's happening in Collingwood? What's happening in Prahran and Richmond? Oh. These measures need to be followed through. I guess for me, if you have a look at those towers and have a look at those, the pillars of planning, control, measures and reporting, you need to ensure that you've got the head. So whoever it would actually be Richard Wynne. I'm sort of mentioning how Richard Wynne.
Who we were reminded grew up only within a stone's throw of those towers.
I'm not aware of that, but I did hear that.
No, absolutely, I can verify that.
Don't you think you would have, say, perhaps a manager of each particular tower, and then you would have a committee on each floor, so you would understand the demographic of that committee. So you need to, if you're going to give them to shut down and say, we're going to shut you down, but this is how we're going to do it.
Wouldn't you give them a warning though?
Absolutely. We needed to protect the vulnerable. That's the first thing. And who were the vulnerable? They were people that living in that socio-economic tower.
Lower socioeconomic.
The elderly,
the
people with disabilities, they need to be protected, and the young, of course. They left out that cohort. Why?
It seems to me that the Premier, the Health Department and the Labor Party, up until about maybe 6 weeks ago, were well in control of what was happening in Victoria. And we've said it once, we're going to say it again, their efforts were impeccable. But it seems to me, since that 60 Minutes report came out and showcased Adem Somyurek and the antics of a couple of other ministers who were in the cabinet about branch stacking, suddenly they've either taken their eye off the ball, or they've been so consumed with things behind the scenes that they've forgotten what their role is as ministers in the government of Victoria. Am I reading it the wrong way?
I think on paper that's the way it reads.
Wow.
But are they really focusing what's happening internally? But they've forgotten what they were elected for.
Correct.
Our constituents. We
100%.
need to protect that. And perhaps they're throwing balls up in the air or whatever, and walking on eggshells. But I have to say that I thought Dan was doing a great job.
Well, I'm backing you. I'm backing you. But the last few weeks, forget about doing a good job. He's dropped the ball.
I think it's
even the language has changed.
Yeah, I think it comes down to communication. And when you tell the community it's okay to protest, but please do social distancing and close down the pier, that confuses the community. So what are you telling them? You're sending a mixed message to say, well, if you can do that, then I can do that. We've said no to Anzac Day. We've said no to the footy,
Mother's Day,
Easter. For what happens to the people that practice religious practices?
It was almost like when that rally came, it was a signal from the government saying, well, look, very shortly we're going to open the doors. In fact, it went on the Saturday afternoon when the government made the announcement. I can remember that we had friends in restaurants, and Shane Delia was one of them, saying Monday we can go to 50, and suddenly, bang. It was this big hammer came down.
So we're dangling carrots, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're saying you can do this, but you can't do that, and then you're saying, oh, we're going to tease you. We're going to increase it, and now it's like level 3.
Let me take you back to the term of politics that you've got a very interesting perspective from. What have you made of the fallout following the dismissals of Robin Scott, and the other 2 ministers?
Kay
Roo, and also Dan Somyurek. And of course Somyurek now saying, listen, I've got plenty of stuff and I'm going to come back at these people, and I've got emails galore, and we saw a glimpse of that. And he's now sitting on the crossbenches, no longer a member of the Labor Party. He hasn't got any colours to wear, and he can be a lethal weapon.
He can
be. Or
a
rogue.
But the community are the ones that vote.
Yeah, they put him in there.
They put him in there.
Yep.
So they need to make their decision, and they need to live.
So when's the next election? It's about 18 months away.
18 months away for the
So
state.
for 18 months, he's going to draw his parliamentary pension, or a salary rather.
And should that not stop?
And
if he's found, shouldn't stop. Why should we be paying? Should the inquiry come not in his favour? Why should we be paying him for a lifetime?
Lina,
that's the problem.
I had a contract at SBS, at Channel 9 and at Channel 10 for the better part of 35 years. And there was a little clause right in the fine print. Should I ever bring the networks into disrepute? Should I appear on the front page for the wrong reasons? Should I appear on 60 Minutes and cast a gloom over the 9 network or SBS or Channel 10? I would be gone.
These contracts aren't reality for what's taking place in the worldwide business network, are they not? They need to be reflective. On paper.
When are we going to wake up? When are we going to shift and start making the rules that govern parliamentary behaviour the right rules?
You need to put people in place that are going to make those changes, because the current people in place at the moment are not making those changes.
Lina Messina, thank you for joining us on The Informer. I hope we can do it again.
Absolutely, thank you.